Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Pisces February 2022 horoscope forecast. And yes, it does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Now, first up, well, as far as February goes, the Sun, February 2022 goes, the Sun will be in Aquarius from the 1st until the 18th. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized, highlighted at this time. Well, keep in mind, the Sun is about vitality and energy. You might find at this time your vitality and energy may be diminished to some degree, Pisces. You might also be focusing your attention. It could be on doing selfless acts for those that are less fortunate, or such as like maybe something providing tech labs for the less fortunate, such as inner city children as some examples. It could also be a focus on something Aquarius related in solitude and seclusion. It could be doing something with astrology, computers, astronomy, electronics, innovation as some examples. And also to keep in mind, this could also shine the light, so to speak, on an Aquarius. Could be Aquarius hidden enemy, or somebody that embodies Aquarian characteristics. The Sun is also connected with the biological father and children, so it could also be a time where you may, these people might be somewhat hidden at this time, or children, if applicable, they may be, a little bit, maybe they're more withdrawn, or they're just, they're out of reach more so than usual, but they could also be factoring in more in your private life at this time, more so um, than usual. And the Sun, remember, is also connected with the heart, the upper back, and spine. So it can be some issues at this time with those things, because the 12th house is the house of limitations. It's also hospitalization. So those are some ways this could manifest. Now, the Sun will be in Pisces as far as February goes, from the 18th until the 28th. So the first house will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, Pisces, well, your energy and vitality might actually be better at this time, more so than usual. Pisces generally doesn't have an overabundance and surfeit of energy, but the energy level may be improved at this time for Pisces. There might be more of a focus now on self-interest and your appearance, your physical body at this time. It might be also putting your attention on Piscean related new beginnings. It could be some doing something with the metaphysical, which includes astrology, or poetry, or dancing, as some other examples, or photography, chemistry, anesthesiology. Children, if applicable, and the biological father may be more instrumental in these new beginnings. It could also be a time where you may be very motivated and driven towards sacrificing at this time. For it could be a grandparent, it could be for a someone that was prominent in your early childhood. Um, it may be a time too where in some cases it might shine the light on a Piscean related physical issue, especially if you have this in your actual first house in your chart, and then you have, say, if you have Pisces rising, or you have this, actually, going into your first house in your natal chart. It can be something, again, shining light on something. It could be something Pisces related physically, such as something with the feet, the toes, the lymphatic or immune system. Now, also to it, next thing I want to get at, we'll have a new moon in Aquarius on February 1st. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, Pisces, it might be a time where it could be the beginning of expressing altruism, expressing selflessness toward those that are less fortunate than yourself. It could be toward the hungry, the oppressed, the homeless, the impoverished, as some examples. It could also be a time too where you might be beginning to devote time to doing something Aquarius related in solitude and seclusion. It could be doing something with astrology or astronomy or computers, the internet, electronics, innovation as some examples. And it may be time. You got the moon, the new moon in the 12th house. It could also be more of a beginning, just maybe of doing something. Again, it could be something Aquarius related in private. Some cases, even though the new moon is generally auspicious, I think it could also be the 12th house is the house of hidden adversaries. It could be the start of one. It might be somebody on the internet, or because this is Aquarius, or somebody that's an Aquarius sun, moon, or ascendant, or embodies those traits. It can be doing something to, at this time as well, where you're expressing, again, humanitarianism. Maybe there's selflessness behind the scenes that you may be expressing at this time, Pisces. It could be the start of doing so. Now, another thing too, there's going to be a full moon in Leo on February 16th. So the sixth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, some cases this could be some unveiling or revelation of a Leo health related issue. It could be something with the heart or the spine or the upper back. It might even be the ending of doing something with employment associated with the zodiac sign Leo, such as like working with children, doing something with creativity or the military or sports, cardiology, entertainment, movies, anything that could be Leo related. Could also be a time where you might become very tired, exasperated, simply full of somebody that's overly bombastic, arrogant, or domineering. It could be in your daily routine. It may be an aunt or an uncle or somebody at your place of employment. It might also be perhaps even being overly extravagant in the daily routine, spending exorbitant amounts of money when it really was not necessary to do so. And it could be, this is also, Leo can be associated with children, so it could be in the sixth house is the house of worry. So it might be a time where maybe a worrisome issue with a child may come to a completion or ending at this time, Pisces. So, anyway, excuse me. Well, the next thing up, Mercury will be in Capricorn as far as February goes, from the 1st until the 14th. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Pisces at this time. Well, this may manifest in a lot of introspective thinking regarding your future, your goals, your aspirations. It could also be a lot of just premeditative thinking about what you want to do, how you're going to go about attaining goals and aspirations, but also it could be very negative and pessimistic thinking regarding even stepchildren or friends or people that are prominent in groups, clubs, or organizations at this time. Mercury and Capricorn, the transit by itself, it's important to guard against becoming overly despondent or melancholy at this time, and that could be in regards to your future, since we're talking about the 11th house being emphasized and highlighted. Mercury is also connecting with siblings, cousins, and neighbors, so these people may be more prominent as far as your goals and your aspirations go at this time, and they may be Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Capricorn characteristics. Now the next thing up, excuse me, Mercury will be in Aquarius as far as February goes, from the 14th until the 28th. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now at this time for you, Pisces, you might find yourself doing some writings and communications. It could be in solitude, seclusion, something Aquarius related, such as something with electronics or computers, or astronomy, as some examples. You might find yourself at this time where communications may be more limited, more so than usual. You might find that whether it's because you don't want to talk as much or communicate as much, or the people that are usually around are not available at this time. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, and it may also be, at this time, the 12th house also is the house of, it's the house of limitations. Mercury is connected with the hands, the arms, the nerves, shoulders, breathing. So it might be where you may be dealing with some issues that are very, being an Aquarius, might be some issues that are very erratic and sporadic, with breathing or with the arms or the hands or the shoulders, and it may be nerve related. Not only is Mercury connected with the nerves, now Aquarius is as well. And it might be where you're thinking and contemplating about doing things that are humanitarian, that are for those less fortunate than yourself. Um, Mercury is also connected again with siblings, cousins, and neighbors. So it could be that these people at this time might be factoring in more with your private life at this time. Some cases it might be a hidden adversary. It could be an Aquarius Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or one that embodies Aquarius characteristics. Now, the next thing up is that Venus will be in Capricorn for the entirety up to February 2022. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now at this time, Pisces, this could be about valuing discipline and structure in attaining goals and aspirations. It could be where a Capricorn love connection, relationship figures prominently in your future. It could be Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or one that simply embodies those traits. It may be somebody that's an older, responsible, career-oriented person, and this is just valuing your future more so than usual, valuing planning, premeditating as far as your future goes at this time. And it might be a time too where you might be spending very conservatively on friends and acquaintances at this time. And also, the fact that, the 11th house is also connected with groups, clubs, and organizations. It can be a time where it's a time maybe to value these if you are involved in any one of these things. And in fact, valuing more consistency in these matters at this point in time, and enjoying them more so than usual. And it might be a group that could be Capricorn related, such as something with business or accounting or politics or the government at this point in time. Now the next thing up, well, Mars will be in Capricorn for the entire month of February 2022. So again, the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, situations with friends and acquaintances may be more contentious and acrimonious than usual. It can be a time where there might be arguments over just ambitions, or it could be responsibilities, career-related matters. But it could also be a time where you put a lot of discipline and consistent energy into attaining goals and aspirations. It may be also a time, keep in mind that Mars is also about injuries. So if you're doing activities with friends or some group related situation, there might be more susceptibility to an injury connected with the knees, the bones, the joints, the hamstrings at this point in time, more so than usual. As far as if you're doing something group related or doing something with a friend or an acquaintance. It might also be, as far as this goes, Mars is also connected with, has a connection with sexuality and sex, and it's a time if you're unattached at this time, Pisces, you may meet maybe somebody that might be there for, could be a sexual liaison or a sexual relationship, I should say. And again, it might be a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or one that embodies those traits. It might be someone at a group, club, or organization at this time. And it might be somebody that was a friend, and maybe it's escalating into something stronger. So those are some ways that this may manifest and pan out. Now, the next thing up. Well, Jupiter is going to be in Pisces for the entirety of February 2022, so the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Well, at this time, Pisces, well, This can be a very fortuitous time. It could be for new beginnings and just a prosperous time in general. It may be, it might be very auspicious for new beginnings, something Pisces related, such as the metaphysical, which includes astrology, poetry, dancing, photography, anesthesiology, maybe fantasy, writing a fantasy book or doing something, with illusion or special effects or beginning work even as a magician in some isolated cases. But keep in mind that Jupiter, as I've stated in previous videos, is very paradoxical. It's very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. In some cases, might be enlarging and expanding the waistline. Um, it could be a time where there's a greater propensity to gain weight at this time, more so than usual. But at the same time, you may be, come across as more jocular, jovial, optimistic. At this time, even more benevolent, more so than usual. Pisces, and it can be a time as well where this could actually be very positive time. It could be for dealing with could be a grandparent, it could be somebody that was prominent in early childhood. Jupiter is also connected with sports, so it might be something where you might be more involved in something sports related. Maybe there's something connected with Pisces. It could be like a water sport like canoeing, rafting, or swimming at this point in time. So anyway, next thing up, well, Saturn will be in Aquarius for the entirety of February 2022. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. This could be a time, Pisces, where you may be bearing your sorrows in solitude and seclusion. It may be a more introspective time for you. I have this placement daily, so I do know something about it personally. In some cases, sadly, it may manifest in the departure of the father. Again, I have this placement natally. I actually lost my father when I was 3 years old. And this is a time too where it could just simply indicate that the relationship with the father may have some limitations at this time. And the thing about this is that the fact it's in Saturn, though Saturn is in Aquarius, though generational, it could be the father might be a Aquarius Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or one that embodies those traits. It might even be somebody that an older person that's prominent in your life might be hidden, or might be somewhat withdrawn at this point in time. But also it's a time for perhaps even very strong inner discipline at this time for you Pisces. And it can be a time where you might be working laboriously in solitude and seclusion. It could be doing something Aquarius related, such as to do with computers or astrology, electronics, innovation, anything that could be Aquarius related. It might even be doing something at this time as well, where Saturn again. Saturn is connected. It's with authority figures as well, so there might be some maybe there's some secret sorrows that are connected with one at this time. If you've had any issues with people in authority. It can also be a time, keep in mind that Saturn in Aquarius, I would say, generational, as far as how it's impacting people collectively, is that I think it's manifesting a lot in being restricted from society in general, because that the COVID-19, the variant, is still at least somewhat prevalent. People are more inhibited, they're more introverted, and more about being to themselves. And now the fact that you have the Saturn in the 12th house, this indicates even more so, more isolation. That reinforces that energy, being more isolated, being in solitude and seclusion. And it may be more difficult at this time, more so than usual, to let others into your life at this time. Again, I do have this placement daily, so I do understand something about this. Now, hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, now the next thing up, well, Uranus will be in Taurus for the entirety of February 2022. So the third house is what we emphasized and highlighted. Now at this time, your communications at this time, Pisces, may be somewhat erratic and sporadic. It could be that, given that Uranus is connected with friendships, it can be a time where friendships might be figuring more prominently, more so in your communications, more so than usual. Even short journeys, they can be, Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people or embody those traits. They're simply friends that are very loyal, steadfast, stable, solid, and persistent. And they might be even people that were prominent in your early education. These can be people that really, at this time, again, they can be more prominent. It could be with short journeys. Maybe they're more, they're figuring strongly in matters, again, with communication, or even with siblings, cousins, and neighbors at this time. And it can be, a time as well where you feel maybe this could be a time for more innovative thinking, I would say as well. Um, it might be something where you may be interested in doing some kind of Uranus related writing. It might be something with astrology or computers or electronics, innovation, writing about science fiction, and being in Taurus, doing so in very persistent, steady manner. I would say at this time it could also be some, might be some electrical issues with your vehicle that you may be dealing with at this time, and you may also be dealing with, with siblings, cousins, and neighbors. These people may be more unpredictable at this time, more so than usual, I would say, at this time for you, Pisces. So, anyway, well, the next thing up. Well, Neptune will still be in Pisces. It's going to be in Pisces for the entire month of February 2022. So the first house is what we emphasized and highlight. Now at this time, Pisces, this could be a time where your energy and vitality may be somewhat, feels like it's dissipating or dissolving. I mean, Pisces is not known, again, for an surfeit or abundance of energy, but it could be even less at this time. But on a positive note, it could manifest in Neptune / Pisces, new beginnings, and it may be doing something with photography or chemistry or the metaphysical, which includes astrology or poetry or dancing. But at this time as well, it may be hard to define your objectives at this time and where you really want to go. What are going to be your starts? What direction are you going to be going in at this time, Pisces? It might be, Pisces is not known to be decisive anyway. And then when you have this transit on top of it, sadly, it's like it's adding insult to abject misery and might cause even more confusion, where you might even be more nebulous or unclear than usual as far as where you want to go in terms of your life. And also keep in mind that first house is connected with the grandparent. It's also people prominent in your early childhood. These people may be deceptive or may be more nebulous or unclear than usual. It might be a time too where you may be more susceptible to something Neptune / Pisces related as far as physically goes at this time. And it's really, it could be something with the feet, the toes, the immune or lymphatic system. And since Neptune, Pisces, though generational, I would say, can have a connection with fallacious or false mediums or psychics, just be wary at this time that being more guarded with people that claim to be psychics. They might steer you in a different direction as far as a new beginning goes that may not be in your best interest, and they might just be there to take just to get your money from you at this time, because this could also be a transit, I would say, where one may be more easily beguiled or deceived more so than usual. Now, last but not least, Pluto will still be in Capricorn, so the 11th house will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, Well, this can manifest in a number of ways. It could be where you may experience, sadly, the death of a friend or an acquaintance or somebody that might be prominent in some group, club, or organization you're involved in. You might be, it could also be more obsession with making maybe money from a business if you are involved in one at this time. There also may be more of a desire and passion to pursue goals and aspirations. It could be something Capricorn related, such as something with business, politics, the government, dentistry, accounting, information technology, um, masonry as some examples. It can also be a time too where when you have this transit as well. Pluto is it is connected. Again, it's a lot of passion, a lot of desire, but you also have to guard against dealing. It could be power struggles with some friend that you may know at this time. It can be power struggles with somebody you might be in some organization with. If you're safe, you're both the two of you are in some kind of supervisor position or management level. Maybe there's some power issues or power struggles with one or more people there at this point in time. This is also a time to me. Pluto is about literal death, but it could also be about figurative death, destruction, obliteration. It might be a time for you, Pisces, where maybe there may be some kind of goals, or maybe there's something with friendships that you feel need to come to an end, need to be obliterated, and it may be time to move forward. And Pluto is transformation. So the thing about it is when something ends with Pluto, it can often be supplanted later on with something else. And it could also be a time too where it could also this can manifest in Pluto related goals and aspirations. It's power over you're trying to get power over your future, but also could be Plutonian goals and aspirations, doing something, for example, with the occult, which includes astrology, insurance, recycling, something with transformation, working in forensics. It's something that just involves deep research and investigation. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.